Hi guys, Thomas Moran here, and today's video is going to be about the British Open 2025 coming to Northern Ireland, Royal Portrush, and we've got a par 71, 7,381 yards. If you like these videos guys, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, really appreciate it. So, last of the four golf majors, I had to do a video. This time around I've got 6 tips, and there's some whoppers in here as well. 500 to 1, 300 to 1, so we're not messing around. I think the Scottish Open, we've got really good bit of form line here for that. Then we've got 2019, played the British Open here at Portrush, where Shane Lowry won by 6 shots, I believe, to Tommy Fleetwood. I think that obviously gives us an absolutely great idea of how people got on here. I know it's 6 years ago, but it gives us a good idea. Course record -8, shot here 63 by Shane Lowry himself. I believe Rory McIlroy had one on the old course of 61, but I don't know why they don't correlate and why McIlroy's hasn't held, but that is what it is. Little fact for you before we go on. David Duval in 2019 shot a 91 first round. I don't like sort of doing this to people, but ex-world number 1 had a bit of a mare around here. He was a little bit older. So my first tip out of all of the tips, and I would say it's weirdly it's not my strongest tip, but it's the lowest in price, and it's Robert McIntyre. I'm a big fan of Robert. It's a funny one really, because all I wanted was him to have a good Scottish Open, and I'd really fancy him this week. That was the plan before the Scottish Open. He was around 22 to 1 to win last week. He's won there before and comes second, and then he throws in a 65th. And for me, it was frustrating, but with a poor performance like that from him, one excuse I can give him, and I will give him, is that he won it the year before. Sometimes winning the year before just doesn't work out the next year. We see it in a lot of majors. You win the Masters and then you just can't do it again the year after. Media stuff. He's the Scottish sweetheart at the minute, and they needed someone. I'm going to give him up. When I watched him on the Thursday and the Friday, I was watching some of the golf in the garden, and I thought he was playing really well. He actually, at one stage, he was doing really well, but it just petered out. It didn't really work for him. So I'm going to scratch that one, and I'm going to go back. The previous 5 tournaments, he's come 6th, 20th, 36th, second in the US Open. He had no right to be anywhere near that top of that leaderboard, and in true Robert McIntyre style, he played amazing, came second, wasn't far off JJ Spawn. I actually laid him around 2.3 or something, so he was clearly right there, right near the end, but Spawn played really well, holding an absolute monster putt to win by 2 in the end. And then Robert came 17th the week after. It's good form, really good form. I like him. He's sneaky good in majors. And going back to the 2019 event, obviously here he is in tied 6th here. He played 4 brilliant rounds, 268s, a 71 and a 72. He likes the course. For me, he's got a good British Open record. He's come 6th and 8th. He's never missed a cut of his last 5. The last 3, 50th, 71st and 34th aren't great, but he's a big-time player. He's a major player, as we've seen, with the US Open this year. And another thing is, you are getting that price because he was rubbish last week at the Scottish Open. I think he could be a 22 to 1 shot, 25 to 1 shot. But as I've seen here, we've got, so as you can see here with the odds, you've got best price 35 to 1, which I think, top 6 places is generous. And then you've got top 5 places with Bet Victor here where the cursor is. But there's lots of sort of 33s and 28s. And for me, I've gone for more of a top 10 again. I like getting as many places as we can in these kind of tournaments. So I've gone for 28 to 1, top 10 places, 28 to 1. Betfred here as well, 28 to 1, top 10, the odds. I think that's a really good bet. I've had £10 each way on him to get us started in that one. Next up, you guys won't be surprised, but this man, Justin Rose, is my second pick of the lot. And the opposite of what has happened to McIntyre last week at the Scottish Open, he's gone the other way, and I didn't really want him to show me anything. I wanted McIntyre to show me something, and I wanted Rose to maybe miss the cut or something. But instead, when I watched Rose, unlike McIntyre again on Thursday and Friday, I thought it was rubbish. He was all over the place, hitting the ball right, under trees. Obviously he did well to sort of manufacture, and then he goes and shoots I believe it was a 63 on the final day. I mean, I didn't watch any of that. He shoots a 63, 7 under par, plays unbelievable, like Rosie can do, like he did in the Masters first round. He can shoot one off out of the park, and he's come sixth, and he doesn't normally do that well in a lot of these events. So that really just doubled down. I actually backed him midway through that round without realising that he was doing so well. I got 80 to 1 because I was going to do him probably anyway. He loves tough tests like this. He's a British Open kind of guy. I think that's where he essentially was found out. I think as a junior or an amateur, that was where the British Open, he had an absolute run for it. He loves majors. He loves any kind of big event like this, and this is why I back him in these big events. You'll see me on these videos, and you'll see Justin. He always tips up Justin Rose. What's all that about? For the Masters, I probably always will, and even for any other tough event, I will. I'm not saying he's sort of made for these things, but he just seems like this is what all he cares about. If you look at his form, it is garbage. And I always say this, he withdrew 10 weeks ago, missed cut, 44th, missed cut. And then, like I say, I'd have happily had a missed cut and then backed him at maybe 100, 125 to 1 each way, but unfortunately, he plays out of his socks the last round, comes sixth. Everyone thinks he's probably playing amazing, but sort of only really one really good round that he's played to get him in that position. Otherwise, he'd have probably been 30th or something and no one cares. But when you look at his, he came second last year at the Open. He came second in 2018, and sixth in 2015. Had some good results in between there, 22nd, 23rd, 20th. He's always there or thereabouts, only a couple of missed cuts. And in 2019, where this was held at Portrush, he played well. He had a bit of a mare last round, like a lot of these guys did, and he shot 79, but prior to that, 69, 67, 68. He clearly loves the course, and he shot 8 over par to still be 1 under. So he would have been 9 under had he shot even par. Not that that's no one was shooting, but ridiculous scores. But from Robert McIntyre and Hatton, most people were shooting having mares. But tied 20th again doesn't look great on the sort of face of it, but really he was right in the mix. And like I do with all my golf guys, if he's sort of right there, if he's in the top 5 come the last round, I'll probably lay some money off, and make some guaranteed money at that stage, because he's probably going to be sort of 4 to 1, 5 to 1, around that number. And you can guarantee a bit of profit if you want to do it that way. Also, you can lay the places there as well, because he would have been very short to be in the top sort of 5, 10 there. So you've got that option as well, which I would take upon. I just think we can look at his form and we can, laugh at it. A third and an eighth, came 8th at Arnold Palmer, third there, and obviously very close, lost in a playoff at the Masters, is good, but apart from that, he has been rubbish. And the US Open, don't know what happened there, 277s, very unlike him. I just think he's a great bet. And we are losing the price. This is not sort of a price I'd normally like to back Rosie at. You can normally get away with backing it much bigger, but I think the 60 to 1 here, where my cursor is for Bet365, top 8 places, I still think that's a very good bet. I've had £8 each way on him, and yeah, I think we're going to get a good run from him. I hope we do. He's my second pick. Third pick's a funny one, because I didn't know that much about him. I knew he was young, knew he's Northern Irish, but I was watching some of the live golf in preparation for this to see how some of these guys were getting on, people like Rahm and Niemann and people like that. And Tom McKibben was up there. He's been playing great. He's come 5th on the live tour a couple of weeks ago, and then he was 4th last week. He played so well. And another thing that is really big with my selection here is the fact that he lives 50 miles, his hometown was 50 minutes away from the course. That's great. I love home players in these kind of events, because it's a sort of a Northern Ireland championship, really. Shane won it last time. I think Rory missed the cut, but he would have been wanting to win that. And what I liked is when I was doing a bit of research on this kid, he's only 22 and he's won a lot of money in the last two events, which is really, there's lots of articles saying how excited he is for that. And, you know, going into this Open, the form is amazing. Not only all of those big positives, but the big positive is that he said he's played it hundreds of times and he really likes the course. I mean, he's going to have massive advantage over the rest of the field in that sense. So for me, I mean, I could easily have him probably as my top tip. Yes, he was 150 to 1 yesterday. I mean, clearly people have just woken up to the fact that Northern Irish, he's playing well, you know, all of those things together. But I still think he's a good bet. I think that to me is anywhere around that kind of number is a good price. You can get 150 to 1 top 5. I wouldn't put anyone off even just going top 5 there. You know me, I've tried to get the biggest price and the most amount of places. A lot of them that are top 10 have really cut, you know, priced up 70 to 1, Coral and 90 to 1 for top 10. So I've met in the middle and gone for 110 to 1 top 8 bet365. I think that's a really good bet. I've gone £7.50 each way. It's not boom or bust with him. I think he could play really well. He could get a top 20, something like that, or he could go and do really well. We don't know, but I think he's another great bet. Fourth selection, we're going big prices here, guys. This is a guy, if you look back through his year, he's pitiful. I mean, it's very much on the sort of Justin Rose side of things, where he was on the DP World Tour, it wasn't working, wasn't clicking, it was not working on the PGA Tour, and then US Open, there was someone that said to me, top South African, Christian Bezuidenhout, and I don't like doing those top South Africans, I don't like doing top British, things like that, because someone can pop out who's been playing like rubbish, then comes good. And this was Thurston Lawrence. Him and I think they tied in the end, which weirdly got me a full place payout. I have no idea. So I had 20 quid or something on Christian, and somehow it looked like Thurston was going to thrash him, but he actually tied. He faltered near the end. But that is a big 12th for the US Open after all these missed cuts, after not playing well, not shooting very many rounds in the 60s. He's actually shot one round in the 60s in about 6 tournaments. And then he comes to the US Open, plays unbelievable. Then he goes on to confirm that form, tied 8th for the Rocket Classic, 44th at the John Deere, not so good, but 66 and a 68, pretty good. And the Genesis Scottish Open, he missed. He hasn't got a great record there. He missed the cut. He shot even par, 270s. It's not too bad. I think he's another player that I think's got something in him. I think, if I'm honest, the price reflects, because a lot of the time people don't realise with gambling, it's not just I'm picking him. I'll pick Scotty Scheffler to win at 5 to 1, and fingers crossed he wins, and you get your 5 times your money. Thanks very much. For me, I like to throw bigger prices because we just don't know what's going to happen. Scotty Scheffler last week, he was all right. He played okay. It's about as bad as you're going to get from Scotty, and the trouble is, you back him each way, you get your money back, in that sense, or you go for bigger prices and hope to hit the frame, or if they win, you just win a crazy amount. So, he came 4th in the British Open last year, 74th the year before, and 42nd the time before. He didn't play in 2019, he's still young. I just think it's the price for me on this one. If he's still playing well, which it looks like he still is, you're getting a big price on a South African who's going to like the wind. It's going to be tough Royal Portrush this week, so if the wind gets up, he'll be fine. He's maybe a bit too long for this course in terms of they don't need that length that he's got, like he used in the US Open, which I think what I like again about Rosie, going back to Rosie briefly, is he doesn't hit the ball that far in comparison to everyone else, so this course will suit him. And, whereas McIntyre bombs the ball a long way, I just think Lawrence, he's a big price. You're not messing around here. You can get 175 to 1 with a lot of places. You're only getting top 7. Wouldn't put anyone off betting any of those companies that are doing that. I've gone again, bet365, £4 each way, 150 to 1. Hopefully it gives us a good run for our money. I think it's too big. Going on to my next selection, I don't know a lot about Christopher Reitan, that knows from Norway, and he's been playing absolutely unbelievable on the DP World Tour. He's not got much form or any form in the British Open, and a lot of people don't like that. Completely understand. I cannot ignore a second, 33rd, first, second, 13th, 46th, fourth. I believe that was a BMW, and a 13th last week. He was good at the Scottish Open. Yes, he hasn't played there before. He might not have even seen the course. There's a lot of things going against him. We're 301 here, guys. I'm not having someone who's been playing that well go unbacked, priced up bet, top 10, fifth of the odds. You're giving me a top 10 and you're giving me 60 to 1 on a top 10 on a kid that who's been winning. He's clearly talented, clearly a cracking player. He's only 27. To shoot 7 under in a very good field, very, very good field there with a lot of top players in Scotland that I'm not sure if he'd played there before. I think 301 is huge. He could bomb out, he might not make the cut, he might play awful, but I'm never am I going to leave him unbacked at 300 to 1. So I've only had £3 each way at 300 to 1. Christopher Rightham with priced up bet, but there's lots of big prices elsewhere. And my last one is probably going to get laughed at, and I can see why people would laugh at it, but I like these kind of bets. I've seen too many of them over the years do something a bit silly. It's probably less likely to do something silly nowadays, but it's Lee Westwood. He's over at Live. He had to qualify for this. I've heard lots of things from him saying he loves the course, he loves Northern Ireland. One of his best mates, if not his best mate, Darren Clark, is very local to the area. So he's played it numerous times. He played it in the amateurs, I believe, in 2005, something like that. He's a great player. He's still playing all right. He's still got a 7 under in him. You know, in Riyadh, he shot 7 under. He shot 9 under Virginia. Like, he's still, when he was tied 10th, his results aren't great. But if I'm honest, when you're backing players around these kind of prices, you're just not going to get that. And the big thing here, yes, it was 6 years ago, but he did come tied 4th here, very consistent, very Lee Westwood, 68, 67, 70, 73. I could see him scraping a top 10 or something, and you're getting the price for a gamble. And I'm not saying put much money on it. I've only got £1 each way on him, but at 500 to 1, you can shoot me down all you want. It's my kind of bet. I like it. You've got top 7 here with Virgin Bet and Unibet. You're still getting 475 with Sky Bet. If you want a bit of fun, quid each way. He's the kind of player that used to sort of get in contention and then fall out maybe. If he does for 3 rounds, somehow knock it round like I could see him doing. I could see him knocking it around, and somehow he shot 7 under in qualifying for this. He's still got something in him. He's not that old, 52 or whatever he is. For me, I was looking at some of the guys, you know, Sink and Stuart Sink here at big prices. I believe he won. Yeah, he won the British Open a long time ago, maybe 12, 13 years ago. I just like these kind of bets. There's no risk, a lot of reward. If you somehow scrape the top 7, you're getting 100 to 1. You know, I know it's only 100 quid, but like, it's a fun bet, and you could bet bigger. You know, if people like the idea. He came 4th here before, says he likes the course. It's kind of enough for me, if I'm honest. That lot, you know, he's not doing great on Live. He's doing all right. Standard over there is not as good. He's had a top 10, but I've seen these before and I've done them before and thought I'm not going to do them, and they've come in the top 10 or come top 7. You could do top 20, top 40, whatever, to make the cut. You might get a price, I don't know. But those are my selections for Royal Portrush this week. I like them all. Yes, people might say backing 6 players is a bit too much, but I haven't really outlaid very much at all, probably under 70 quid. Recently, my golf bets in play have been much better than my pre-match bets, but I had the winner of this 2 years ago with Brian Harman at 150 to 1. I only had small stakes on him, but it was a big win. You know, it's so tough, and I love watching it, so I want to have a bit of interest as well. Whereas if I don't bet pre-tournament and then I'm betting in play, I mean, it's not as exciting, and it's not, you know, and I can't do these kind of videos. So please let me know who you guys like. Of the rest, you know, obviously McIlroy, this is his home country, this is his home course, I believe, but he missed the cut here in 2019. I don't know the price. He obviously did well last week at the Scottish Open, had a chance to win, didn't quite make it. He's obviously playing well. 7 to 1 probably isn't the worst price. Scottish Scheffler, you know, 6 to 1. It's sort of that number which always makes me think when he wins by 3, it's frustrating. I just don't like backing players at those sort of prices. Ryan was good last week. Again, I could see him doing very well. But I think these kind of courses, if you get on the wrong side of the draw, if the wind kicks up, I just think those kind of prices, your player might just get so unlucky that he could play great and then still come 7th, 8th, and you're backing him around 6-1, 7-1. I just don't like it. Whereas if all mine bomb out, I've had a fire at them. I've had a shot at them, and you can win quite good money. Something like Justin Rose still a good price at 60-1, and McKibben 110. You've got a shot at fairly decent money, and wouldn't surprise you if any of them did well. Shane Lowry won this 2019. For me, there's probably going to be a bit too much pressure on him this time round. He's not playing amazing. I had looked at Hovland's playing great. He's got a very good British Open record, but again, the prices for me were fair. So they're the ones that I like. I hope you're good, guys. Please let me know in the comments below who you fancy, who you're going to do, and good luck. But most importantly, take care.